Right, boys, it's been a absolutely mental day with the Eddie Hall versus Thor Björnsson press conference. I promised loads of people in the comments that I was going to put up my prediction for the fight tonight, and that's exactly what I'm going to do for you guys. It's been a bit of a shit show, to be honest. Like, even today, it was just absolutely mental at that press conference because they just can't seem to, like... both of them are like big kids, really. Like, I know I'm saying this now, yeah, but if one of them was stood in front of me, I'd shit myself. I know. But they've been acting like kids, basically, at this press conference, and I understand they're trying to sell the fight and everything. But yeah, like, lads, just, like, can't you stay civil for at least 30 minutes? But it gives us entertainment, so fuck it, I ain't complaining, man. It's the more, like, purist boxing fans that are like, oh, it's tarnishing the sport, whatever. Anyway, fuck all of that. So, what I'm going to be doing is going over... I've got like 4 or 5 things that I've noted down for each of them, and I'm basically going to go over them in terms of what I think is the most important. So we're going to start off with the first thing. Who has the mental edge? In this fight, it's a bit weird because everyone's saying Thor's been riled up at the press conferences. You can see that he literally can't keep it together. He even come out at the end of his most recent vlog and goes... Look, guys, I lost it. Like, fair enough, yeah. He's held his hand up and said that. But I think a lot of people are forgetting Eddie is holding a grudge from 2017 about this, like, about this whole situation, the whole world's strongest man, and Thor, like, tarnishing and saying, oh, they cheated or he didn't deserve it or whatever. So if it's a mental edge, yeah, I think it's pretty even because I think Thor's been in Eddie's head since 2017, but over this last week, Eddie has dialed it up, especially since he's been in Dubai, and he's stuck it on Thor, and Thor is starting to get wound up, and he knows the things to say to get under Thor's skin. He knows how important family is to Thor, so he's like... But it's a weird one, like, people were commenting today again, saying like, oh, he's disrespected his mum by telling him to keep quiet. He could have been a lot ruder with that. The way he just said to tell her to keep it quiet. He actually said it once before as well, but I don't know if Thor didn't hear it. So that led a lot of people saying like it was a bit like staged, basically, because it took Thor like a while to like clock that he told his mum to be quiet. Anyway, so mental edge for me, yeah, is neither here or there, man. I don't think either of them have got the mental advantage. During this week, yeah, you can give it to Eddie. During the last 5 years, yeah, you can give it to Thor. So I don't know how to call that one, but that's at the bottom of my list in terms of things that are going to affect this fight, really. Because I think once they're both in there, they've been laser focused for their whole camp. So that's what it is. Next thing I've got down is experience, man. I think experience is not going to really matter in this one because, I'll explain myself, Thor has had 3 fights, but 2 of them have been exhibitions, man. So he had one against Stephen Ward and he had one against Simon Vallily. And they were just, it was a glorified sparring session, man. So I genuinely don't count that. Like, he was, like, not very far into his training when he had those. He basically took those to secure the bag a little bit. So I think we can diminish those. The actual fight we can look at is the one against Devin Larratt. Devin Larratt hardly had any time to prepare for that fight, which is an issue. He's a 50-year-old guy. He's an arm wrestler. Like, it was a bit suspect, that whole fight, let's be honest. But in that, you saw little glimpses of what Thor can do. He can throw out a jab, and he's going to look for that counter when he gets a chance. He had some good footwork as well for a big guy. I was very, very impressed in that fight by his footwork. So, in terms of experience, there's not really much to go by in terms of actual experience, and they've not been in front of a live big crowd. So, it's going to be the first time for both of them. Eddie has literally got fuck all experience that we've seen. Apparently he's had these closed-door boxing fights, like, but it's not the same thing as in front of a crowd, and it's going to be very different when he stood across from someone that he genuinely doesn't like. So we'll wait and see who suffers from the adrenaline dump, but my money would be on Eddie suffering from it, but just because I think he's going to be a little bit more emotional than Thor during the fight. But in terms of experience, it's fairly even, man. Like, yeah, Thor's been in there, done a little spar, but on the night, I don't think they're going to feel the nerves that they're going to feel before in any of their little fights. Eddie Hall had a charity fight. That's not even... We can't even count that. So, fairly even again. So, at the moment, we're basically, like, all square. Now, the more interesting things that I think are going to play a massive factor. So the next one I've got on my list is cardio. Cardio is so important in boxing. Boxing cardio takes years and years and years to develop. These guys have had just under 2 years to develop that boxing cardio. They're only going 6 rounds, but for guys that size, 6 rounds is a lot. Those 3 minutes of absolute high intensity work in the ring is very, very draining. So, in terms of cardio, man, Thor has lost about 30 kilos, which he looks in good shape. I know Eddie keeps calling him like a, what is he calling him? Like a skinny rat with AIDS or something. Like, I'm probably misquoting that, yeah, but yeah, Eddie's taking the piss, but he looks good. He looks lean. Like, he looks like he is fucking trained hard, man. Like, I'll stick in a couple of photos of what Thor looked like before. He was a big bloated guy. Like, he looks good now. He's been doing like longer distance running, and like boxers always say how important road running is. So, I don't know, man, the cardio, it's a bit of a weird one. Eddie is obviously like a very high level swimmer before, like, so you've got that lung capacity. He's been going on weighted vest runs, but they're not like very long distances from what he shows in his vlog. But he has been doing like a lot of swimming, especially like for those kind of like 3-minute intervals. But for me, I'm going to have to give the edge to Thor, man. Just shedding that much weight. He's looked very mobile in the ring. He's had the experience of going those rounds. I'm going to have to lean towards Thor on the cardio. So that's 1-0 Thor in terms of cardio for me. In terms of the next most important thing, this I think is the second most important thing. It's weird because a lot of people think it's first, but it's their actual technical ability. Do I think they're going to come out and look like legit boxers? Do I fuck? They're not going to look like legit boxers in there. I can already tell you what I think Eddie's going to come in and do. He's a shorter guy. He's going to come in and try throw these massive overhand rights. He actually ended up detaching his bicep by throwing some lazy hooks. So let's just hope he's tightened up his technique a little bit and he knows how to get inside of Thor, because Thor's going to be pumping that jab out. We know that is what Thor likes to do. We've seen it against Devon. We've seen him try it in his fight against Simon Belili. He'll just flick out that jab just to keep range. That's what Thor's going to do. It's a strange one, because I'll come on to this in a sec, because you'd think Thor has a bigger reach advantage. I would naturally think that, but apparently not. But we'll come on to that in a second. So with Thor, what do I think he's going to do? Thor's going to throw out his jab. He's going to look for counters. I think Thor's ring IQ, he's actually quite intelligent. He's been training with Billy Nelson, who is he's a well-renowned Scottish coach. Like, he's a really, like, people think of him very highly. I think he's had a couple of fighters that have gone on to be world champions as well. But you can Wikipedia my man. But getting back to the fight, I think Thor, yeah, he's going to use his footwork. He's going to try and get out of the way of Eddie. Eddie's going to, I think Eddie's going to come forward like a freight train, man. He's going to try and close him down, and he's going to have to put that pressure on Thor, because Thor has been in those little exhibitions and stuff where he's been able to fight on the back foot. He's tested himself out, but he's not been under that pressure that Eddie's going to try and put on him. Eddie, though, those big overhand rights will drain you, man. So the only thing I'm thinking is, how many overhand rights can you throw like that in a round? If they're slow, which I expect them to be quite big, slow looping ones, especially in the later rounds, they're gonna wear Eddie down, man. So I don't know. I can't see, like, if he can get inside and catch Thor, and he is actually very explosive, then good job. He's gonna land one of those overhand rights, and Thor's lost a lot of weight, so I don't know how well he's going to be able to take those punches. But he's going to have to close the distance, man. And yeah, that's going to be a problem for him all night. The final thing that I'm going to talk about is the physical attributes, man. So they've weighed in now. There's 10 kilos of difference. Not massive, seeing as Eddie's been running with a weighted vest and shit. So like, he's prepared for Thor to lean on him or whatever. So that's actually a smart move from Eddie there. The height is massive. There's a massive height advantage. So he can technically, if they go into a clinch, Thor can just literally lean on him. Like we've seen Tyson Fury do to Deontay Wilder. He can literally just lean and impose his body weight onto Eddie and tire him down. Like, no matter how much you've trained in that weighted like vest, it's a different ball game when the weight is not evenly spread across your body. Like Thor can position where he wants to weigh down on Eddie. So that's another one. The final one, I don't know if this is true, man, but because I've read it on The Sun, and The Sun is fucking bullshit. But it's saying like they both have an 80-inch reach advantage. I don't believe that. So in my mind, I think Thor is going to have the reach advantage. Like Eddie is literally preparing to cut the ring off and come inside. So why would he be doing that if there was no reach advantage? So I don't know, man. That reach advantage is a bit suspect as well. So in terms of it overall, I think we can give the slight edge towards Thor in this fight. The gloves, I'm assuming, are going to be like 14 or 16 ounces. They're going to be big gloves. I don't see a knockout. I don't see an absolute knockout. Like Eddie keeps saying there's going to be a knockout. They're big guys, man. They're very, very big guys. They're carrying a lot of power, but they're not that quick. And it's usually the punches you don't see. They're the ones that will knock you out. So I wouldn't, if you're going to place a bet, I wouldn't place it on either of the fighters getting knocked out. Could there be a technical knockout, like a stoppage by a referee? Yes. The only thing I can see pushing the fight in that direction is if Eddie gasses out basically in the later rounds, Thor sticks it on him. That's the only thing I can see. It's going to be an interesting fight. I personally have Thor by decision. That's what I'm going with. I just think he's more of a tidy boxer, but it depends on if he can actually land his jab, because there's no use just throwing out that jab, and we know Eddie's going to come forward as an aggressor. So it could got Thor as a decision, but it can even be a split decision, man, to be honest, because a lot of judges favour the aggressor coming forward. So if Eddie has that style and he can use that for 6 rounds, or even the majority of the rounds, then that's going to play into Eddie's favour. But overall, I think that Thor is going to get it done. I know that's going to displease a lot of people in the comments section. I'm obviously from the UK, so a Team UK victory would be good. I don't care about all this bullshit, like them two just being kids beforehand. Like, it is what it is. It's just the whole point of it being entertaining is just they're two big fucking lumps going at it in a boxing ring. That is it. Like, don't invest too much into it, because I bet you at the end of the fight they'll probably fucking shake hands and like dick each other down in the ring. So yeah, don't buy into that too much. But that is it, man, for my prediction. I'm going for a Hafthor Björnsson decision victory, potentially split, could be unanimous. I don't know that much. I'm just guessing either way, man. No one knows what the fuck's going to happen, but that's my educated guess. So if you've enjoyed this video, hit a like on the video, subscribe to the channel. We're so close to 1,000 subscribers, and once we hit 1,000, we get the bag, boys. So take us to 1,000 subscribers and keep it locked for more videos on our channel. Peace.